So we are going to cover how to increase your website traffic using your keyword data. This is very important. A lot of website owners they are like scared of their data. They sometimes they don't look at them. And they miss out a lot by doing that. So I present again myself, Amel. I'm SEO analyst, and as I said, I really love SEO and web analytics and digital marketing. So you can reach to ask me questions and about this presentation using the hashtag that you see on the slide. All right, so what are we going to learn today? Today, I'm going to talk about three things. First, the importance of gathering the right SEO data, which is super important, because if you can't trust your data, well, you can't really create anything efficient, because your data are wrong, and so your strategy will not be effective, and we don't want that for you. So it's important first to make sure that you have the right information. Second, I'm going to share with you two different ways you can actually use to increase traffic from Google search engine, use your website keyword analytics, and they are really easy. So if you have a website running for a while, you already have keyword data that you can use to create better strategies and increase traffic. And it's really too simple kind of strategy. I even give you a plan at the end, so make sure you stay till the end so that you can see, like you can print the slide and really follow it. And if you implement and execute, you will see results in like really fast. But again, it's about execution also. And finally, as I said, I'm going to show you a simple strategic plan that you can use and really create effective strategies for your website. So as I said, first thing first, well, when you talk about data, it's really the future. It's like we are gathering so much data, and it's not going to stop. It's something that we need. It's a skill that we need to acquire, and we need to improve. And this is what you are looking at here. It's really the 5 stages of a data-driven marketer. Okay, so first thing first, starting from the left. First, you're like in denial. You really don't want to know anything about data. It's kind of like it's a headache when you think about analytics or anything like that. And then the second phase, it's really you think, hey, data. You start looking at it, but you think that it's gonna kill your creativity. So you're like, oh no, it's really the death of creativity if I start looking at data. So the third stage here, it will be like, can we just change the data so that it fits what I want to create, or my results, give me the result that I'm looking for, which is not the right way to do it. And the fourth stage is like, oh my God, it's all about math. I know nothing about that, or it's too much headache. I don't want to calculate, or I didn't know that marketing and math are so related. And finally, when you go through all these stages, finally you accept the fact that, hey, you can't really escape from data. We have data everywhere, like analytics from SEO, analytics from social media, analytics from your Google AdWords if you're doing any advertising with Google. So at this stage, you really understand that you can't really escape from it. So it's acceptance. You finally accept that, hey, let's use data. Let's be smart about it so that we can create really strategic strategies. So as you can see here, this is excuse me. This is a study by Ascend2 and research partners. It's published in 2015, as you can see. And the most effective SEO tactics used when they asked about 286 search engine optimization agencies, and the first thing was creating relevant content, which makes sense. But the second, where actually SEO is like, for me, and this is something that you need to understand. SEO is part of content. They are the same. So when you talk about content creation, you need to think SEO also. So as you can see, 72% find it super effective. But the second one was keyword and phrase research. So really doing your keyword research the right way, looking at your keyword and understanding it is super important at 48%. So that's really, really important to understand. So let's start with the beginning. And the beginning is, how do you gather your keyword data so that you can really create better performing campaign? All right. So first thing first, and this is very important, it's to create your Google Search Console. And Google Search Console, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a free tool offered by Google for webmasters. So if you have a website, you should create your account, and it's free and it's super fast to create. And so that's the first thing you need to do. So having a Search Console account and adding your website to Search Console and making sure you verify your website. So I'm not going to go through the steps of how you create an account and how you add the site and verify, but they are simple steps, and actually Google really shows you how to do it super easily. So you just go to the link that you see on the slide and you can actually create if you don't have it already. The second tool that you really need to be more effective with your website and drive more traffic, it's really Google Analytics. And for those of you who don't know what Google Analytics is, it's a free tool, again, offered by Google. And Google Analytics really help you track everything that's happening on your website. So where people are coming from, which page they are visiting, where they are leaving from, and so on. So if you don't have an account, it's free to create. Just go to the link that you see here. So I'm not also going to go through the steps how to create an account, but it's super easy to do so. So now if you have Google Search Console and you have Google Analytics, with these two tools, you'll be more powerful in creating, in improving your traffic. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is to connect. So once you create your account, make sure to connect your Google Analytics to your Search Console. And it's really it's super easy to do. Well, it's super easy. You just log into your analytics, and on the left side, as you can see on the screen, if you click on the acquisition report, and then you click on Search Console, all right, and then you click on landing pages or any of the sub menu there, they will walk you through the linking process, where you're going to link your Google Search Console, which was called before Google Webmaster Tool, with your Google Analytics. So these steps, I hope it's not too complex or maybe too advanced, or just watch the video again to go through it a second time. But these tools and this process, before you even start looking at your data is super important, okay, for your website if you want to get more traffic. Now I'm going to go and show you the two different ways. So by now you should have your Google Analytics, you should have your Google Search Console, and you should have linked them together. So one thing that I didn't say, which is super important, and I see a lot of website owners have trouble with sometimes, and like a lot actually, it's you use different emails for Google Search Console and for Google Analytics, and then you can't link them. So one tip for you: use just one Gmail account for your Search Console and use the same for your Google Analytics. So it's one main email that you're going to use for all your Google tools. This is super important because this is how you can easily connect Google Analytics to Google Search Console. All right, so let's talk about these two different ways to get more traffic from Google using keyword data. First is to use Google Search Console landing page report. So now that you've connected your Google Analytics with your Google Search Console, now that you connected them both, you can actually go to Google Analytics. So that's where we are, Google Analytics. And then you're going to go and take a look at the landing pages report. And where do you find that? So once you're logged in on Google Analytics, on the left side, there is the menu. Just click on behavior, and then you click on site content and the landing pages. And then when you do that, you're going to see all your landing pages. The top landing pages. One other step that you need to do is to go to the advanced filter, And as I said, hopefully it's not too advanced and complex here, but you can click on advanced, and then you can actually really filter your report to only get the information that you want to look at. So for example, here, because we're talking about Google and the search engine, then we need to only look at the traffic that's coming from organic search. Okay, that's where the Google, Bing, and Yahoo, all these search engines are actually placed in your Google Analytics. So the first thing, as I said, it's the source. It's going to be organic, search engine. And then the second one, if you have goals, sorry, I went too fast. If you have specific goals on your website, so let's say if you have a sign up to your newsletter, and you want to only look at the landing pages that actually are driving conversion. And a conversion, for those of you who don't know what it is, a conversion on your website is it's an action that you want your user to take on your page or on your website. So if it's a sign up, that's the conversion. Whenever somebody sign up, that's a conversion. If you're selling a product, every time somebody buy the product, it's a conversion. So for this example here, we're looking at a newsletter, opt-in, a sign up. So we only want to include the conversion rate of like greater than 1, because that's when the conversion happens. And you can also go deep and only add the sessions, for example, that have less than, and then you can specify a number. This is just an example. And between like 150 and 20, and then you add a session greater than 20. So the filter will work in a way where it only reports back to you, as you can see here. And this is the on the top right, this is where you filter the data. It's called advanced filter on. So when you click there, that's where you add all the filters that you saw in the slide before. So what happens when you filter, we create all these filters, the Google Analytics will bring back the report where you only see your landing pages, so your top landing pages, best performing landing pages in a way. It's landing pages that are coming from the search engine. So it could be Google, and let's see here Bing, and also, as you can see, where we have a conversion rate, and when we have an conversion opt-in conversion completion. So as you can see here for this example, for the landing page number 1 and 2, when you look at the data, when we look at the conversion rate for these pages, the conversion rate was 100%, which is super high. It means that everybody who comes to page number 1 or page number 2, they actually sign up, they register. All right. So these pages, when we look at them, they are really super well performing. Imagine you send 100 people and 100 of them convert, they sign up. So that's really an information that you need to look at. This means that these people who are coming from organic search and they land on these specific pages are converting at a specific high conversion rate. So what would you do with this information? How this information can help you, increase more traffic? Well, you know that these 2 pages, for example, are really high converting pages. So if you actually, drive more traffic to these landing pages, you will double your revenue, or you will double your conversion, your signups, and so on. So that's really the next step would be to look at the keywords, for example, that are related to these landing pages, the keywords that are driving traffic to these landing pages from the search engine, and then you will create more content around these keywords, and by creating an off-page strategy, and then you send the traffic to these specific pages. The second one is using the Search Console query report. And again, I hope it's not too complicated, but the first thing you need to do, again, is play with the data. It's to go to your Google Analytics, and then on the left side menu, you click on Acquisition, and then you click on Search Console, and then you click on Queries. All right. Now, when you do that, you need to click on the Advanced Filter, because we want to go deep into we're playing with the data, so that we are looking only at the pages with the impression with a lot of impressions and a high average position on the search engine, and also a good click-through rate. Okay, so when you click on Search Console here, this is the data that's coming from the search engine from Google. All right, so it's not Bing or any other search engine. It's only specifically for Google. That's why we linked Search Console with Google Analytics, is to get the access to this data. So now how do we filter? This is just an example for you, but what this example is, we want to have a list of queries that only actually they have an average position of 15, greater than 15. And 15 means really that you're on page 2. Because if you remember the search engine result page, you have 10 results. So if you are on position number 15, you are already on page 2. Okay, so if you are, for example, if you have your position 25, you're on page 3, and so on. So here we want pages that actually are getting impressions from the search engine. Okay, so for example, here we put greater than 1,000. And then we want not only that these pages that are on page 2 and up, they are getting impressions, and they're getting a good click-through rate from the search engine. So you can pick a number here. It's really up to you, depending on your objective and strategy. So you can pick here, for example, we picked greater than 2 for the click-through rate. And the click-through rate is really when your pages, title and description show up on the search engine results for a specific keyword, and somebody click on that result and they come to your site. That's what click-through rate means. Okay, and finally, we want obviously pages that have a lot of clicks. So for example, we would specify greater than 50 or greater than 100, depending on how much traffic your site are getting already. So you can play with these numbers, but this is just, as I said, an example for you. So when you do this, you will get a report that looks like this. All right, so as you can see, on the left side, you have your search query. So these are the keywords that are showing up these are keywords that people are searching for on Google, and your content, your page is showing up for this keyword on the search engine, and people are clicking on them. So as you can see, you have the click column and you have the impression. So how many times this keyword, for example, number 2, Nest battery, showed up, or keyword YouTube showed up. So how many times they showed up, how many clicks they received from the search results. So we have our click-through rate, and we have our average position for that keyword. So as you can see here, what's interesting, when we look at the keywords number 2 and number 3, we see that the conversion, the click-through rate, so how many times people click on the results when it shows up, your result shows up on the search engine, is super high. However, we don't have a lot of impressions. Okay, so it's as you can see, the number 2 has only 59, but the click-through rate is 80%, which is really good. It means that the title and the description of that shows up on the search result for this keyword is converting really well. However, the average position of this keyword is 45. So you're in page 5 for this keyword. All right, and same thing for the number 3. As you can see, we're getting less impressions, but the conversion rate is really good. However, the average position for our results for this keyword is really in page 6. So there is an opportunity here for you to actually create more content, to get more traffic for these keywords from the search engines by creating more content and drive more off-page SEO content by creating an off-page strategy, so that this average position, instead of being number 5 and number 6 here, you are going to push and get your result higher on the search engine Google for these specific keywords. And how would you do that? As I said, you're going to go and create an off-page SEO strategy where you're going to create content and you're going to publish content on other blogs, like you can do a guest blogging, for example, or you can create a PowerPoint presentation and publish the content on SlideShare, for example. And always, every time you create content, you're going to create content around that specific keyword. For example, number 2 here in our report, which is Nest battery. Okay, so you will create a lot of content, you will focus on this keyword, and you put this keyword, you optimize the page content for this keyword, and you publish the keyword, you publish the content online everywhere. You can use social media and send a link back to the page that you want to rank better for this keyword. Then you do the same thing for documents sharing site like SlideShare and Issue and so on. And then you can do the same thing for blogging. You can create blog posts or you can guest post, and then find a way to create content for this keyword. So you're going to help this keyword by doing all that. You're going to help this keyword to get a better average position on the search result. And by doing that, so the more when you increase the average position, well, impression will increase for your keyword. And then since you have already a good click-through rate, you could expect more traffic for this keyword. Okay, so this is an example for a keyword that has a good click-through rate, but the average position is really not that good. It's not ranking well. All right, ranking page 5, 6, 7, and so on. Like if you look at the number 4, for example, and the number 1. So keyword number 1 and keyword number 4, which is keyword number you are on YouTube, keyword number 4, t-shirt for this specific website. As you can see, they have a lot of impressions. However, and actually they have a really good impressions. They get a good average positions. They can do better. You can actually improve it. However, here, Mike, the concern we should have is the click-through rate. So you can see for the keyword number 1, it's 0.19%, and keyword number 4, it's 0.22%, which is super low. So what this data is telling us, and actually the question we would ask is why we're getting so much impressions, but people are not clicking to come to the site for this keyword. The answer from this data is telling us that the click-through rate is super low. And one hypothesis that we can say is and create is really the title and the description of our page for this keyword is not super optimized. Maybe the title is not interesting, it's not catchy, the description is maybe boring, there's no call to action in it. So people there's nothing there that makes people want to click to come to see our website. So as I said, when looking at these data, you can actually, as you can see, this is the plan. I don't want to take up too much time here, but this is the plan. This is the results of analyzing our data. So for example, what you could do using your analytics and search console is you can make a list of the top 20 landing pages with high conversion rate from organic source, but have medium, I didn't write there, medium traffic, okay? So in here, you would create, you will actually optimize your off-page SEO and on-page SEO to get better traffic from the search engine. The second would be to make a list of the top 20 queries, which means keywords, with high click-through rate on the search result page on Google, but low impression and ranked between page 2 to 10. So again, when you do that, you're going to have your Excel files and everything. Then you can create your strategy. And the plan to implement, so it would be to create an off-page SEO strategy, for example, for each landing page URL and query from list 1 and 2, and then you would really create content, publish content, and really create more link equity to your page, to your site, for these specific keywords that are actually people are coming already to your site using them. Okay, so that summarizes everything. So thank you.